The Epistle to the Hebrews is perhaps one of the most important New Testament books from the perspective of showing Christians how the New Covenant, the New Testament, relates to the Old. One of the themes that comes across constantly is Jesus is better. The word better shows up more often in Hebrews than in any other book. In chapter 1, he's better than the angels. In chapter 3, he's better than Moses. In chapter 4, he's better than Aaron, 4 and 5. In chapter 7, his priesthood is better than that of Levi. In chapter 8, his covenant is better than the old covenant. In chapter 9, his sacrifice and his sanctuary, his temple is better than that of the old covenant, and so on all the way through the book. Jesus is better, Jesus is better. I suppose a picky person could say, why don't we just read Jesus is best and be done with it? It's true that the superlative best is stronger than the comparative better. Yet there is something rhetorically powerful, something that is convincing when on every facet where you want to compare Jesus with what has come before, you make the comparison and say, Jesus is better. He's better here, and he's better here, and he's better here, and he's better here. That's somehow rhetorically more powerful than simply saying in the abstract, Jesus is best. Now, the chapter begins with a 4-verse intro, an introduction. And this introduction announces some of the themes that come up through the rest of the book. Let me run through these 4 verses rather quickly so that you see what I mean. In the past, that is, at the time of the Old Testament, God spoke to our ancestors through the prophets at many times and in various ways. He spoke through visions, through oracles, through the burning bush, through the 10 Commandments, through laments, through the experiences of people like David when he writes Psalm 23. And many times and in various ways, he spoke to the ancestors through the prophets. But in these last days, he has spoken to us by his Son. So over against all previous revelation is the Son revelation. Jesus is better. And this Son is his heir. He is also the one through whom God reigns. All of God's sovereign sweep is exercised through Jesus. That's something also that 1 Corinthians 15 says. All of God's sovereignty is mediated through Jesus, the ultimate heir of God. The Son is the radiance of God's glory. He's the shining of the shining. He's the light of the light. He's the effulgence, the radiance of the glory of God. God manifests himself in glory, and the supreme manifestation of that glory is his Son, Jesus Christ. And then that leads to the fact that the Son is at the Father's right hand. And he's at the Father's right hand because he is accepted there, since he has offered himself as a sacrifice to pay for our sins, to free us from the enslavement and guilt and shame and dirt of sin. After he had provided purification for sins, he sat down at the right hand of the Majesty in heaven. And so he became as much superior to the angels, that is, he became superior to the angels through his sacrifice, as he already was superior to them by his name, that is, by his very being. He's superior to the angels by virtue of the fact that he is one with God. He is superior to the angels at a second time, as it were, by virtue of his sacrifice offered up on our behalf. Now, one more thing we should think about. Why does the author spend so much time demonstrating that Jesus is better than angels? Was anybody in the church actually doubting this? Was there somebody going around saying, well, I think on balance maybe Jesus is not better than the angels? No, that's not quite the point. The point is that in every generation there have been attempts to provide mediators, go-betweens, priests, kings, voices of authority other than Jesus. Even in English television, we have programs about angels and theories about Christians turning into angels when they get their wings and silliness of that sort. And it gets tied to maybe I can pray to one of my ancestors who will be able to help me because they're angels now, or something like this. But over against all such claims of authority, of mediation, of being some sort of go-between between God and us. Against all such claims is the simple truth: Jesus is better than the angels. He's better. We don't need some other mediator. We have Jesus.